Hi everyone, welcome to another webisode of The Good Doctor on EasyLiving.com. I'm here with Dr. Amit Kumar, and today's topic of conversation is how do we choose the right physician for ourselves?
Well, as you know, at some point in time in our life, we're all going to have to see a doctor. And there's so much of medicine going on the internet these days that we don't know how to choose a physician. Do we do it through word of mouth? Do we do it by researching online? And the essence of it comes back to you need to find a doctor that you feel comfortable with. But the doctor also has to be competent in delivering that particular care for which you're looking at that physician.
But how do we know that? I mean, how do we, typically it's been your neighbor has been to a doctor, they come back, they sit down and talk about him and then refer you to him, and that's how we go and see a physician.
You're right, but if you think of it, when you do talk to that neighbor, they'll tell you, I went to a doctor, or they'll tell you, I went to a great doctor, right? And typically, it's not the medicine that sets the doctor apart, it's the fact that did the physician show empathy? Did he actually care enough to listen to what you were telling him? That sets the ball rolling. Once the physician listens to you, then he knows what your story is.
Listening is paramount in a doctor-patient visit. I remember the days where it used to be where doctors were more respected when they were stone cold. So you'd sit back and the doctor would sit back and not even look at you and just do his examination or her examination and then write a prescription and off you go. That's changed, hasn't it?
Well, it has changed and now it's come back a full circle. There was a recent article in the New York Times in which a physician was critiqued on this exact aspect of the fact that now when we're doing our patient assessments, we're either writing stuff down or we're on a computer putting in the data because the pressures of trying to see as many patients exist. But I'm not sure that the pressures that exist are commensurate with the fact that you want to be able to make the patient feel like he's a family member.
Right. So the relationship has changed. It's become more intricate. Options discussed are also have become basically more prevalent, where it isn't where the doctor just gives you a prescription. They give you options. That's a good thing when a doctor does that, isn't it?
Absolutely. So when a physician speaks to you, it's really important for him to not just talk about your one little problem. He needs to see it in the bigger perspective of you as a human being and you as a member of a family who will be impacted in what you're doing. Then he needs to give you all the choices that are available, whether they're pertinent to you or not. Why? Because the decisions that we make of ourselves cannot be made by anybody else. And so while an operation might be good for somebody, another person might choose, knowing all the risks, to say, I would proceed with medical management. So it's important that the physician tell you not just the options, but also the risks and the benefits of each of those so that you can make the decision in the context of you as a human being and you as a part of a bigger member of the family.
Education, again, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, it was basically what the doctor said. Well, now with the internet and with the plethora of information that's out there, doctors that recommend self-reading, learning about their illness, that's again another good thing that's changed the relationship between doctor and patient.
You're right. One of the things I always give my patients is some reading material, or I will give them some references to look up on the web. Why? Because an educated patient is a better patient for me. They would have gone back, reread some of the things that I would have emphasized to them. Why is that important? Because none of us remember all the information that is suddenly given to us.
True.
And if we allow them to go back, see it in the context of a home setting where they're comfortable, where they can share the information with the family, that would be critically important in the success of whatever the final decision of treatment is.
What about follow-ups? How well should a doctor be judged based on their follow-up system?
You've seen the physician, you've gone back home. You have a question that pops up. Are you going to wait for your next appointment in 4 weeks to have that question clarified? Me, I'd probably forget about it in 4 weeks. So again, coming back to the times in which we live, one should be able to get access to one's physician, whether through email, whether through WhatsApp, whether through Facebook. These are all things that should allow us to improve the accessibility of care without actually impinging on the physician. This is the beauty of the web, that there's no emergency in it, but there is enough of laxity for them to be able to say, I can drop a message to the physician, he will get back to me shortly thereafter.
Sure. We live in social times. So if people are communicating via Facebook and Twitter and WhatsApp, as you said, doctors also need to invest in learning the latest technologies and being communicative with their patients. You can put in automated response to say, look, I'll get back to you in half an hour, whatever your time comfort is, but you do need to be responsive. And we do live in an era where everything's transparent and everything is really, really fast. Any other final thought in terms of how to judge a good doctor?
It's quite simple. Somebody who should have empathy, integrity, and accessibility.
Brilliant. If you are choosing a doctor, make sure you listen to this great advice. If you have any thoughts and comments of your own, please leave them in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching The Good Doctor on EasyLiving.com, where you can find anything and everything lifestyle.